connected to your are going to be connected to your Gmail account. So if you have a Gmail account, then everything that you set your reminders to on your Android devices will be synced and connected with that Google account. And as you can see on the screen right now, that is the app we're going to use, the Google Calendar. That's how it usually looks like. It's always like a number in the middle and a square. May differ depending on which update you have, but that's how it usually looks. So, what can a Google Calendar do for you so you can start organizing your daily routines and get ready for the new year? Well, it's basically a time management and scheduling calendar. So, like I said, both Apple and Android devices can use Google Calendar, and you do need a Google account, which is your Gmail, in order to sync your events. So, for example, let's say you added something on your Google Calendar on your cellular device, right, on your smartphone, and you wanted to see it again on your computer or on your tablet, it's all going to be synced. You don't have to repeat it and do it on multiple devices because it's all connected to your Gmail account. And today, what I'm gonna go over is how to add and create events. So, like your doctor appointments, adding Zoom meetings, your classes that you do, reminders. So, like small activities you do around the household, like remind me to take out the trash, remind me to take a walk, and of course, tasks that you need to do. So, I'll show you how to create shopping list and how to add ingredients. So the next time you go shopping, you have a virtual shopping list all in one place, which is the Google Calendar. So let's get started. Okay, so on the screen, that is a tablet, and it is going to look a little bit different if you do have a smartphone you're using today. But I'm just going to go to the Google Calendar application. So for me, my Google Calendar is in the bottom right-hand corner. Your Google Calendar is going to be anywhere else. But for me, mine is going to be in the corner over here where the circle is. That's how it looks like. If you can't find it on your tablet, it sometimes could be inside the Google folder. Sometimes you need to swipe up and find it that way. But the Google Calendar does look like a square with the 31 inside of it. And that's where we're going to go today. If you do not have the application, you do not have Google Calendar downloaded on your phone or tablet or iPad, what you can do is either go to the App Store if you have an Apple device today, or you can go to the Play Store for Android devices. So right here is the Play Store. And on the Play Store for Android devices, like the shopping mall, that's how you download applications. So you would go there to search up the Google Calendar if you do not already have it on your tablet. So you would just search it up, Google Calendar. And as you can see here, I already have it because it says open. If you do not already have it, it's going to say the word install or download, something like that, and you can just download it to your phone or tablet. But since I already have it, let's get started and get into it. I'm going to go into my Google Calendar. Okay, so this is how the Google Calendar looks like. And today we're going to mostly focus on three things: adding events, reminders, and tasks. Does anybody have any questions so far before we begin? Over here on the bottom right-hand corner is the plus sign. That is what we are going to click on to add any type of event, reminder, or task. So if I click on the plus sign, you can see a menu appears telling me which options to do. And we're going to go over each and every one of them and the differences between the two. So the first thing we're going to focus on is event, and I'm going to tap on that with my finger. When we get to event, something like this should appear on your screen. If you're not doing it with me together, you could definitely just look and follow along, and you could ask any questions that you want if in the chat, or you could unmute yourself. So we're going to fill out this information, and what a lot of people do with their calendars is they actually don't take all of the things that it provides. So sometimes people just add a title, they put the date, and they save it into the calendar. While that is a good way to keep yourself organized, that's basically the same thing that you would do on a written calendar, a physical calendar that you may have in your household. Instead, what a Google Calendar can do for you is actually give you alerts and reminders to tell you that the event is coming up. And that's why Google Calendar is so important and so easy to use if you're someone who wants to get organized, because you want your phone or your tablet to send you an alert every time this event is coming up. Whereas today I'm going to show you that you could put as many reminders as you want. 30 minutes before your appointment, an hour, 2 days before, a week before. And that's what you really should do while you are using the Google Calendar. So as a practice for today, we're going to pretend that we have a doctor's appointment tomorrow. And that's what you usually would use for the events button. You could also use this for classes. Like today, if you wanted to put my tech class in your calendar, you could also use it for that feature. But let's just say we want a doctor's appointment. And I'm going to just type it in the title, as you can see at the top. And then we have at the right under it, the date. So let's say it's tomorrow at 1 o'clock is my doctor's appointment. So where it says Thursday, January 12th, we're just going to tap on it on our finger, and a calendar should appear. And all you have to do is just tap on the date of whenever your appointment is coming up. So let's say it was in February. All you would have to do is touch on those arrows to move between the different calendars on your screen. So when I click on those arrows, you can see that it goes back and forth to the different months of the year. But let's just stick with January 13th, which is tomorrow, Friday the 13th. So I clicked on it, I just tapped on it with my finger, and I'm gonna make sure to hit OK, because that is going to confirm it. Now the date has changed, but the time is still wrong. My appointment tomorrow is at 1 o'clock, not 11:30 a.m. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to click on 11:30 a.m. And with my finger, I'm just going to tap on the 1. Now we went to the minute. So let's say it starts at 1 o'clock, not 1:30. I would just hit on 00. But as you can see in the little corner right next to 00, in bold is AM. My appointment's not at AM, it's at PM. So I would just simply tap PM and hit OK. So now that's all set. I have my title and my date of my appointment. So what you can really do to start getting fancy and organized with this calendar is, once again, adding a location and an alert. So where it says add location, you can put the address of where your appointment is, and you're going to see what happens. It's going to add a nice picture or a picture of the neighborhood, so you can familiarize yourself with where the appointment is going to be. So for this purpose, I'm just going to put the address of our center so you can see what happens. You could see that as soon as I put our address for the center, basically what you're seeing is the rooftop view of our building. So depending on the address of wherever, your appointment is or event is at, it's going to give you a specific picture of that location. And if you tap on it with your finger, it will actually take you to a map to give you directions to this appointment, which is also pretty cool, all in one application. You don't have to put a location. You could definitely leave it blank, but it is a way to keep you organized. Does anybody have any questions so far? Okay. So we're gonna, oh,
Just a
yes,
minute.
yes.
Yeah, when you put 20, the address, how did you get the map? I didn't get the map coming up.
Did you get a picture?
Yeah, wait, let's see. 26. It says allow calendar to access this device approximate location.
Yeah, so it can give you an accurate directions to where you are. If you hit no, then it won't give you like a picture or show it on the map. Most of the time when you do add things with locations, you always have to allow your device permission because it wants to let you know, are you sure that you want to put an accurate location that's going to give you, transit and transit routes and things like that. You always have to give permission, or your tablet or phone, either one is going to say it can't do it. So let's say you've tried doing this before in the past, maybe not with Google Calendar, but with any other thing on your phone that asks you for location and you said no previously, then you may have to go into your settings and completely change it and start from scratch, which that will be in a class 2 weeks from now where I'm going to go over settings and how to give your device access to different things. So if you're not seeing a picture or is it not showing on the map, it could be something to do with your settings.
No, now I see it. Now
Oh, okay.
I have the picture and the map, and it
Oh,
said show map.
all right.
Okay,
All right. So you're all
thank you.
set.
Yes.
So the next thing, if nobody has any other questions on that, the next thing we're going to do now is learning about adding a alert, a notification.
Well, wait a minute. Don't we have to save the address? Do we save it?
It's already saved. Once it's in there
Oh,
like that with the picture, that means it's saved.
okay.
We don't touch it now until the ending, okay?
Okay.
So the next step now is adding our alerts and notification. So the reason why we do this is because we want to be notified of when our appointment is coming up. So as you can see on the screen right now, if I just give it a circle, this is what I'm talking about. It has a little bell, and for me, it says 30 minutes before. So what that means is that, so if my appointment tomorrow is at 1 o'clock, 30 minutes before, I'm going to get a message on my tablet or my phone that this appointment is coming up. However, 30 minutes before is not enough time for me, right? Because maybe 30 minutes before you're already out the door going to the appointment. So you may want to do a different time. So I'm just going to show you how to do that. So under 30 minutes before, we have something that says add notification. If we tap on that, you can see now you have a different a menu with different options that you can choose for. So you could do 50 minutes before, an hour before the appointment, a day before the appointment, or let's say your appointment is in advance, like you made an appointment with the doctor and your next, time slot was 2 months from now. You can hit custom and actually choose, like, I don't know if it's 3 weeks in advance or 2 weeks in advance, you could do it that way. But if it's not that far in advance, you can just use the options that they have there, which is, well, now we're at the 4 weeks because I clicked on that. But before I had the hour, 50 minutes, 15 minutes. You could choose whichever that you want, or you could hit custom like I just did. And when I hit the custom, it gave me something here at the bottom as notification or as an email. So what this means is that if you have the blue ticked off next to as notification, that means you're going to get a message on your phone or tablet. You're going to get a little ding, a little message that's going to appear somewhere on there. If you hit as email, if you put the blue dot next to as email, that means you're going to get an email to the Gmail that you have connected to your Google account, whatever is your Gmail, and you'll get an email saying, hi, so and so, you have an upcoming appointment a day from now, a week from now. So you decide which one that you want. It automatically defaults to notification. So if you don't touch this, it's always going to be just a message you get on your phone. If you want an email, you have to click on the custom button. So let me just clear this. So once again, in add notification, there is a custom button when you click on add notification, and you can switch whichever one is more comfortable for you, whether you want a message or a email. And I recommend always doing an alert just so you can remember when that appointment is, even if it's like 2 weeks in advance, so you can get those messages on your phone or tablet. If you don't anything, it's just going to give you the default 30 minutes before. So if you're fine with that, you could certainly just leave it as 30 minutes before. Does anybody have questions on that? Okay. So if we look down some more, we just have 3 other options that are not too, crazy that you have to do. If you want to add it, sure, go ahead. We have a default color. So, and I tapped on it. Let's say you're someone who really wants to get organized this year and you really are going to dedicate yourself to using your Google Calendar. What you can actually do is associate different appointments and events with a color. So you can say every time you put a doctor's appointment, you want the color peacock, blueberry, lavender. Every time you put a Zoom class like today from RSS, if you start putting that inside of your Google Calendar, you can associate it with another color, tangerine, banana, basil. So then you could always remember, oh, it's green, so that means it's a class, today. Oh, it's a blue color, that means it's a doctor's appointment coming up. You can certainly do that if you want to. Then we have add description, which is just, adding details about what's with the appointment. So let's say doctor's appointment is too broad. You can say who you're seeing and what is the appointment about, or notes you want to tell your doctor. If it's a Zoom meeting class, you can have questions ready for the instructor, or, things that you want to write about the class. You could do that if you want. Then we also have add attachment. So adding an attachment means adding a document to this event. So if it was a doctor's appointment, I would say you can add a picture maybe of your something, that's wrong with your body, or lab results to show the doctor. If it's a club you attend all the time, maybe you wrote like a Word document to show your fellow people in the club. It's usually just documents. So I hit on add attachment and you can see is trying to find a file for me that I saved. But you would have to previously saved this file on your Google Drive. So if you went to my class with Google Drive, that's all about saving and sharing documents and files. And you have to save it there first before you can add it to your Google Calendar. But that's to be very super organized. You would have everything in one place. Okay, so the last thing I do want to go over is for events is where it says does not repeat. This is very good for classes like today. So you know that every Thursday at 11 o'clock, I do a tech class. So with the does not repeat, you can tell your calendar that at every time at 11 o'clock on Thursdays, I want to get a message that this class is happening. Same with all of our exercises classes and nutrition classes here at RSS. You can use the does not repeat option to help you become organized. So if I hit on does not repeat, you can see now I'm getting an option whether it's the class every day, it's the class every week, every month, every year. So you have to make sure that that date and time is correct so it could always come up every week or every month. So if you know that this class today is every Thursday at 11, just make sure you put that time in correctly so then you can choose every week. If it's not, if it's just a regular appointment, you don't have to do that option. And once you're done with everything, you have everything filled out. The last thing that you would have to do is hit save. Save in the top right hand corner. Once I hit save, you can see right here, it is now in my Google Calendar, the doctor's appointment, even with the picture saved. Does anybody have any questions on that? Okay.
I tried to do the calendar once
Mm-hmm.
and I put in an event, and when it was the day and the time, it came up, but it said content hidden. Content hidden. I want to see what it is. I don't know what, I don't know if you're going to come up about that, but
Content hidden?
yeah,
Mm,
it didn't tell me what the event was. It just gave me a notification, but it didn't tell me what event it was. It said content hidden.
I see. Let me just see. That I haven't heard of, but if you write in the chat your email, I could definitely find you instructions on how to fix that.
Okay.
I haven't seen that before, but I will definitely look for it for you and I could talk to you over that through email.
Okay, that sounds good. Okay, I'll do that.
So just before the class ends today, just make sure you type your email in the chat, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, so the last two things we're gonna go over today before the class ends is how to add tasks and reminders. It's always going to be in the same place with the plus sign at right there, always at the bottom right-hand corner. And we have reminders and tasks. Reminders and tasks are going to be the same thing with events. It's not too complicated. They're also the same thing with the, sending your phone or tablet a notification. And with reminders, it's just going to be a task that you always do maybe every week. So when I did the class in the center, on Tuesday, I asked everybody, what is something that they do that they want to get reminded throughout the week? And then someone answered, remind me to throw out the compost. So that was something that they do every Friday, and that's something they want to get reminded of. So you could put remind me to. Ooh, all right. So you could do something like that. Whatever activity that you do throughout the week that you want to get reminded of. Reminders are not really something that is going to be, months in advance. If it's something months in advance, you would use the event instead. This is like probably a week or two that you kind of just want to get reminded of. Throwing out the garbage, the compost, do an exercise, go for a walk, do the groceries, something like that you would want to get reminded of. And for the person on Tuesday, they said it's not something that happens all day, right? So you can see here, oops, if I just circle it, you can see it says all day, right? So that means that throughout the day today, it'll keep reminding me, or a notification will keep popping up saying to throw out the compost. But sometimes that's just too much. We don't need it to be the all day. So you can take off all day by just hitting that blue button in the right hand corner and actually set a time for your specific reminder. So you can see that once I clicked on the blue button, the time has now appeared, and you can choose whichever time you want, just like with the event that I just showed you. So if you need to throw out the compost before they come and pick it up at a certain time, you would put a certain time and it will remind you once again at that time. And let's say you have to throw out your compost at a specific day every week, you would hit that does not repeat and change it to every week. So on every Thursday at 3 o'clock, I want my tablet or my phone to remind me to throw out the compost. I want my tablet or phone every week to tell me to exercise, to take my medication, anything like that. That's what you would use to remind you. So if you're taking medication and you need to take it every night or something like that, maybe that could be a good thing to put as a reminder for your calendar. Does anybody have questions on that? Okay. So if no one has questions on that, that's all that really reminders do. Make sure to hit save in the top right hand corner always before you are done. Discard that. And the last thing I do want to show you is task. And it's always again in the plus sign in the right hand corner. With task, what you want to do is actually utilize the add details part. So for me, for a task that I would do on a Google Calendar is like a shopping list for getting groceries, right? So in the title, I would put something like shopping list or whatever topic that you would need to add details and notes to. So maybe it's not shopping list, it's like if you have like a work list or like duties to do around the household, or you could do that like duties around the household. And then for details, you could put water the plants, do the laundry, sweep the rug. Something that's a broad topic that you can add details to is something that I would put in the task category. So let's say for shopping list, I want to start putting the ingredients in the detail category. So I would put I need to get milk. I need to get cereal. I need to get spices. I need to get fruits. So that's something that you can use this for, instead of like if you do go grocery shopping and you have it on a physical paper, you can always look back on here to see what you need to get and put in your shopping cart. Don't want to use it for groceries, you can always delete that. And what I said before, like duties around the house or something like that, like housework or something. And then you could say like cleaning the dishes, the rug, the tables, like whatever category that it's a task for you that you need to get done. It doesn't have to be on a specific day. It could be an all-day task you usually do around the house or in your daily routine. You would want to create a task for it, a list that you can see all the bullet points and the different things you have to get done. Whereas a reminder is one thing or one activity that you have to do. A task is multiple things with, different categories that you have to get done. Okay, and once again, once you are finished with that, you do want to hit the save in the top right hand corner. But before we end today, I do want to show you something, which is, well, once again, let's say you do put something in the different events or reminders. So let me just put a reminder real quick. Remind me, take my medication, my medicine. So let's say I want this done. And I'm just going to circle it so everybody could see. You can see that once a task is done on your Google Calendar, it is crossed out by a line through it. A very faint white line appears when an activity is done. And this is going to help you remember whether or not you've done this activity, because just by that white line. If you don't, do anything with that notification alert that you get, Google Calendar is just going to think that you never completed it. So in order to get that white line through it, like as you can see, remind me to throw out the compost and grocery shopping list are both have a white line through it, but the remind me to take my medicine does not have a white line. If you want that white line, what you'll want to do is click on it. And in the bottom right-hand corner, we have a mark as done right here. Mark as done. When you click on the mark as done button, you're letting your phone or your tablet know that you did take your medicine. So I no longer need to have a notification about this. So once I hit mark as done, you can see now on the screen, all of these reminders and tasks have a white line through it. So I made sure I did it. And if you always don't want it on your calendar, you can always just tap on it and throw it in the trash. So we have two icons here in the top right-hand corner. Oops. The three little dots in the top right-hand corner is to delete. So if you just don't want that on your calendar and you feel like it's taking up space, or just, you feel like everything else doesn't need to be there and you want to put something else that's way more important, you can always delete it once you're finished. You can hit delete. And now it's gone. The same thing for anything. You could do it for multiple things. So I'm going to show you one last thing. So I'm going to leave the Google Calendar. And I just want to go to the Play Store so you can all see There are tons of different reminder applications out there that you can use on your smart devices. If today you realize maybe Google Calendar is too complicated or it's not things that you wanted to do, there are plenty of other apps in the Play Store that we can search for. And I'm just going to show you very briefly. Once again, if you have Apple devices, so that's an iPad or an iPhone, you do not have the Play Store, you have the App Store. So you have to go to the App Store and search for them. But if we just type in reminders in the Play Store or App Store, you're going to get tons of different applications that do the same exact thing Google Calendar does. Some may be easier, some may be more complicated. Let's say if we just clicked on one of them, there's pictures to show you what each application does. Some of them look very similar. And you can decide whether or not you want to continue with Google Calendar, if you want to continue with something else that is here. Google Keep is also a really good application as well for writing down notes. So like they're kind of like a virtual sticky notes, like those yellow sticky notes that they have in offices. Google Keep is like the virtual version of that. But as you can see, if I just kept scrolling down with my finger, there are tons of different apps that are way more simple, or they do tons of other different things to keep you organized. I always recommend the Google Calendar that I just showed you because it syncs on all of your devices if you have a Gmail. And that is very important because you want to be notified on all your devices. You don't want to do something on your tablets and then you have to, write it again on your smartphone. That's too much work. So with Google Calendar, you don't have to worry about that. It's going to be on all of your devices. And that's why I showed it to you today, because that's easier in my opinion. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, so if you have any more questions, that is the end for today.